What I'm about to tell you is a true story, not made up, and not a dream or vision with closed eyes, but actual truth and stuff that happened in this world. I would like to keep this video as short as possible, so it will be interesting for you to watch and see what I got to say. I would like to tell you my experience with the living God that many people today talking about. I actually had a real face-to-face experience. Of course, he wouldn't have allowed me to see his face. I didn't see his face. Let me tell you my story. I wrote it down, but it seems like there's no spirit when I read it, so I'm gonna try to speak it out. And I hope I do, and you, well, bear with me. So, in 1987, in Russia, that's where I came from, my mom died while giving birth to a sister. And sister also died that day. So me and my dad were left in just two of us. And we lived in a duplex, in a home that was side by side. And there were neighbors living in the other side too. So one night we went to sleep as usual, and I slept in his bedroom, in his bed, with him. And because there was two of us, and I was 3 years old at that time, I wouldn't want to sleep alone in a house like that anywhere. Anyway, I remember one night throwing my hand on him, sort of like as hugging, like, throwing on my dad a hand. And that night, I remember I felt it with my hand, like that I touched something else, something different. It's like it was consciousness. It went inside my head, and I knew it's something else, and I became fully awake. And when I opened my eyes, there was like a baby face looking at me. The color of that face was charcoal. It was dark. It was small. It's like a smoke. It's like dark as smoke. But even though it was night and there was no light inside the room, the face I was able to see, like it was looking right at me. I got very extremely scared. When I saw that, I took my hand out and Dad, Dad, start screaming. Suddenly, the lights went on in the room, and I look to my left and I see my dad standing, looking at me with his face like, what's going on? And he's like, why are you sleeping that way? Apparently, as much as I remember, that it was as if somebody put me where the legs go. And pillow was there, and anyway, I was sleeping totally different direction. So my dad, as he standing there and he's asking me this question, in the very same time as he's speaking, almost like he's just almost finished speaking, this very loud sound, like a thunder, just boom in the room across the hallway, in a different room from our bedroom. And I was looking at my dad's face at that time, and as I saw him, his face like whoop when he heard that sound too. So we both heard the sound at the same time. And I'm sitting there, and he says, "Stay here. I'm gonna go check it out." I'm like, "No." I jumped off the bed, grabbed his hand, left hand, because I'm giving you all details, and I'm walking with him. And we pass the hallway. He opens the door. He turns on the sun, the lights. He turns on the lights. He walks into the room, maybe like 3 to 5 steps. I don't know, my steps were smaller. Then we turning around towards the door, and along that wall where the door is, there was a couch. And on the couch, I look and I see this being sitting on the couch. And I'm like, within me, I'm like, what is this that I'm seeing? And because it was, I'll tell you how he looked. Because I also had like a question like in my mind saying, what is this? And it was as if it was giving me an answer. It was like as if maybe communicated with me. I don't know. But I knew the answer. Being as small as I didn't know what I saw. But he gave me an answer, maybe. I knew that what I saw was completely normal. And normal in this world. So he looked like, this is what he looked like. Oh yeah, he also didn't sit on the couch as we normally would sit. He would sit like we normally would sit on a couch and would recline. But he was sitting on the rest and his feet were on the couch. He would sit on the rest of the couch, like right against the wall, and his hands would be on his knees. He was big, very big. To me, he looked very big. I don't know. And what he looked like as if he was made out of fire. Not that the flames were coming out of him, but like I remember specifically, like staring, looking on his arm, on his right arm, as it was on his knee. And I looked and I saw the fire inside of the arm. And it was like dancing inside of it. Like it was living in, like it was alive. Like inside, it was not like flaming. It was like within, like instead of skin, instead of flesh, he had like fire inside instead. He was made out of fire. He was wearing garment, not like jeans, not pants, but it seemed like it was a garment. All the way to his, I don't know, feet, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember exactly how long it was. But it was a garment. And it was all the same color, all the same, like a fire. And he was bright. Like, the color was like a sun, like a yellow, bright color. But yet, I saw all the details. I was able to see. It was not irritating my eyes. But I was able to see everything. Like, all the details. That's what I'm saying. When I looked, I saw like the fire inside of it was like dancing. Inside like when I looked at his hand, I can't explain this. And the atmosphere was different. Like I remember specifically, the atmosphere was different. It was different. It was like I can't. The smell, maybe there was some kind of scent to it, special scent. I can't describe the scent, and I don't really remember after so many years. And as I was standing there looking at this phenomena, if you want to call it that, he looked like a man, but big and made out of fire. And one thing I remember, I remember seeing everything, but one thing I remember, I was not able to see his face. It's like it's not there. I can't remember. It's not in my memory. It's like I know that it was not, it was like hidden from me. I was not able to see his face. Wasn't able to at all. Wasn't able to. It was like I can't remember anything. His face wasn't shown. But everything else I saw. And after that, when I held my dad's hand, I look up. Well, I was standing looking at this vision. It was vision, but it was real, in this realm, in reality. But I look up to see my dad's face because I was short, 2 years old. I looked up, and his face expression was as if he saw something very scary. That's what I saw. And after that, he just says, "Let's go." And I'm like, oh, and by the way, when I saw his face, when he was scary, I became scary. But when I saw this being, I wasn't scary. It was like as if he gave me peace, not being scary. And as I say, when I saw it, as if he told me that it's normal. What I see is normal. And we went out. We went to our bedroom. And when we came back, I mean, no. We went to a bedroom, and I heard the boom again. It went like boom, and we went back, but there was nothing there, as much as I remember it. Then later, I heard my dad speaking to some people. I don't know who it was. But he told them that neighbors that lived in that duplex, they were complaining about the noise. And the next day, that morning, I guess. So it tells me that neighbors heard the noise as well. And so did my dad, I think. But one thing, I always wanted to talk about this, but he doesn't like that. He always denies, and he denies still this day, that he saw anything. But you could tell that, I don't know what to say. But with all this said, I would like to say something. I studied the Bible, and I found some verses there that I would like to share, and I'll read it, just three places. I'm gonna read it to you, just for example. It's a King James version of the Bible. It's Hebrew 12:28. Therefore, since we receive a kingdom which cannot be moved, let us have a grace whereby we may serve God acceptably with reverence and godly fear. For our God is a consuming fire. This is another verse, Ezekiel's vision of God. Ezekiel 1:27. And I saw as the color of amber, the appearance of fire, round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even downward, and from the appearance of his loins even upward, or vice versa. Okay, I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. That's Ezekiel's vision of the living God of Israel. Exodus 33:20. That's Moses. God speaks to Moses, and he said, "Thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. These verses remind me of the similarities of what I saw. Could this be a messenger of this God of Israel that spoken in the Bible? Or maybe even him? And if so, would this not tell that God of Israel is real and alive? Well, I saw something, and I'm telling you, my experience. I feel after so many years, I feel like I am obligated to tell this. So I'm making this video. I never done this before, and I'm very shy, as you could see. But I hope, people who might need to hear this, to have more hope. I have seen it, and that's not a joke. It's a real thing. I saw it in 1987, around March. It was maybe later than March. It was almost end of March, beginning of April. Maybe then. I kind of figured it out when it was, because I remembered when my mom died and everything like that. So I hope it helps in signing out.